So hello guys, welcome to MSC Red Devil NCR. I'm joined by Prashant Bhai and Delvin. And Delvin, coming to you. First of all, welcome back after a long time, same as Prashant. Thank you all for taking your time out. So the first hot topic of the show is like main topic. Cristiano Ronaldo left before full time last night and straight away from the stadium, not in the dressing room. So what were your guys' view about this? And we know that Ronaldo's drama has been going on from right from the start of the season. Before it, that his agent also told that he was exploring the options for him in UCL. So Prashant, coming to you, since you've been very active about this topic for a very long time.
So first and foremost, I don't see it such a big issue. One, because I rather enjoy the Spurs win right now rather than concentrating on Cristiano Ronaldo as a whole. Look, we knew from the start of the window he doesn't want to stay here. The only problem we are stuck with the whole issue is that he can't get a buyer, we can't get a seller. So we are just stuck with that mess. Okay, his contract ends in May, and then we have an option to extend for a year, which I don't think we are going to do, and nor does he want to do. And as much as I love Cristiano Ronaldo as a player, there is also a small amount of blame which I'm going to give to Eric Ten Hag as well. And the blame which I'm going to give him is you keep praising him in press conference all the time. You're saying that he's an important player, etc., etc. The game was almost dead yesterday. You didn't make any substitutions where you could have got Cristiano Ronaldo. One, your substitutions are also late. Compared to Conte's substitution was stupid yesterday, but uh, United substitutions, right? And you can't keep someone warm up in halftime and then make him sit all of a sudden, and that too in front of 75,000 people. On one side of the press conference, you say you're such an important player. Without you, we don't have a backup striker. You are one of the main players, etc., etc. And then you flip it across in the match. Of course, I think after a point of time, any player will be frustrated with this, and Cristiano Ronaldo is no different. I don't agree with Cristiano Ronaldo's behavior on the whole. What he did, I think he shouldn't have done it. You know, it's not nice when your team is fighting for 3 points on the pitch for 90 minutes. The least you can do is sit there and support it. Okay, but I do understand from where he's coming from, and he wants to play every minute, every game. But he also has to realize that the team is not about Cristiano Ronaldo. The team is Manchester United, and right now 3 points for Manchester United is more important, than Cristiano Ronaldo's ego being massaged.
So, Delvin, coming to you, like straight shots on fired by Prashant about Ronaldo's both as his professional and as what his behavior did. What behavior he did like last night, and also about Eric Ten Hag substitution last night. Like game could have
Yeah,
been gone
so
anywhere. We could have lost or we could have won because that. But what do you want to tell about Cristiano Ronaldo's this whole thing? Like after this press conference, you said that David Austin said he straight away gone to his home.
so so like Prashant said, I think in this instance it's the victory that should take prior importance, and the manner of the victory. I mean, let's be honest. I think all of you will agree that this has been the best game that we've played under Ten Hag. All his principles have come into the fore. We defended as a unit. Whatever we did, basically, we did as a unit, and it was not a moment of individual brilliance that has so far come to define our team over the past 2 to 3 years. We've played as a unit and we've won as a unit. I think Lisandro Martinez put it rather perfectly that we do not we do not pay a lot of attention about people who are not on the pitch. I celebrate the victory with the people who are on the pitch, and I frankly believe that should be the attitude. Coming to Ronaldo, some of the points what Prashant Bhai said were correct. That he should have we understand where he's coming from, and he has every right to be upset, no doubt. He's human at the end of the day, but then he needs to understand that there are better ways of expressing your disappointment. There are better ways of expressing your annoyance towards a particular situation. And yes, he was made to warm up twice, and then he was made to sit. But then, which player hasn't? I mean, there have been many players who have been told to warm up, and then, as and when the situation is required, they've been told to sit or they've gone on to play. Depend. I think the substitutions what Ten Hag made also were with a point of view of just shutting the game down. I mean, we bought in McTominay, I guess. So I think basically what I felt was just trying to shut the game down, because by that point I think we knew the result was in the bag. Spurs weren't going to do jack about the situation. They were just trying to play the ball amongst themselves to save embarrassment. I believe that he should have, if he was going, might as well be in the dressing room, because this was our best performance of the season. And this performance could basically have huge ramifications in the way that we are going to approach our season from here on until the World Cup break, at least until the last game before the teams disband for the World Cup. So every player is required, and I think it was. I mean, you know that like he said, it's not to have egos massaged and all that, but then I think Cristiano Ronaldo needs to also understand that right now he could be a big name. He's a global phenomenon, one of the best goal scorers, so on. You're still not bigger than the club. Uh, any player is not bigger than the club, no matter how big you are, no matter even if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever. You're not bigger than the club. And I was not a fan of the behavior because over the years, Ronaldo has established his name as a thorough professional. Like whatever it does, he does not let anything affect his professionalism, no matter what. I mean, this is the same man who just missed one game after a personal tragedy last season. This is the same person. This is the same person who did that. I mean, from there till now, it's a massive difference, and obviously that's a blot on his professionalism. So yeah, overall that was that, and that one incident was enough to overshadow the positive performance. Because if you see, almost everyone was asking, all the players, even the manager, rather than the victory, it was about Ronaldo's act, which gained the spotlight and which gained the attention, which shouldn't have been the case, especially yesterday. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just to
while
add to,
Ronaldo, yeah,
sorry,
okay, yeah,
sorry, go on, man.
yeah. So I was not a fan, but then we understand that where that annoyance and the petulance come from. But then it could have been easily avoided. However, like Prashant Bhai said, not to weigh much into that incident at all.
Yeah, and also just to add to his point, right? Eric Ten Hag after the City game said that because of sheer respect for Cristiano Ronaldo, I did not bring him on because it was in a very embarrassing position and I don't want to bring him on. I don't think yesterday was very embarrassing then. Why did you not bring him on then? That would be Cristiano Ronaldo's question to Eric Ten Hag. I understand City game was 6-3 or 6-3 and we were 4 goals down. It's very unfair that's what Eric Ten Hag said. He used the word respect. It's for the word respect. I for so much respect for Ronaldo, I don't want to bring him on. Yesterday, I don't think there was a question of respect. He could have brought him on, of course. I mean, he brought on Anthony Langa as a winger, while Rashford was awful yesterday. I mean, uh, he just ran. I understand pressing is important, etc., but he was just awful. The amount of chances he missed. I mean, like Thierry Henry said in that post match, right? If you have a brain, use it. It's not about power all the time. Just use your brain. You can just place the ball. I'm not saying that if it was Cristiano Ronaldo, he would have buried 10 goals or whatever, but uh, it has reached to a stage in his life where he wants to play every game like he has been for 15 years, but it is not happening for him. I agree with Thierry Henry's first part where he said United have to find a solution for Ronaldo quicker than what they're anticipating because this is a mess which will stop United from getting into a top four situation later or getting into a top three fight. And I think Evra said it nicely as well that United have beat everyone who are in the top four except Man City. Right? We beat Arsenal, we beat Liverpool, we beat Spurs. We are going to face Chelsea soon. Okay. Which means the team is on the right track and Eric Ten Hag is doing a decent job. He's not doing a great job. He's not doing a bad job. He's still doing a decent job because we have seen these things happen with multiple managers, right? They start off well, we get into the top four race, and then we fizzle out. So he's doing a good job. But this Ronaldo situation is murky. Okay, he has to see if he wants to leave. We might as well just terminate his contract and let him leave. But he wants his wages as well, right? No one is going to give him 500,000 a week, 485 or whatever the wages is, what he's earning. So it's a situation which will only get murkier and murkier, and he's going to play in the World Cup now. If he has a good World Cup, right, there will be buyers. Cristiano Ronaldo will always have buyers. That's not a problem. The problem is how many buyers of world class level are interested in him.
So coming to the next point, like we talked about Ronaldo also. After the like yesterday, also want to talk about this yesterday game thing also. Like we saw that the first half was so frustrated that everyone was expecting that it's gonna be a game like Newcastle we had, that we are playing good, but it's gonna finish like draw. But suddenly we switched our gears and we scored 2 goals. So do you think Antonio Conte, yeah, or Eric Ten Hag had something changed after halftime, or Hugo Lloris just given up on his defenders that I can't do that much of saving because that guy was the man of the match. Like if United also won, if it would have been Hugo Lloris, they could have considered around 6 to 5 goals if Rashford had his mind right to the goals. So coming to this point, what do you want to say about that, Prashant?
See, couple of things. Hugo Lloris is a great keeper. Okay, he's got his own mistakes. Yesterday, Hugo Lloris decided to be a top class goalkeeper all of a sudden, and some of the saves he made was just outrageous. That save from Luke Shaw, I was like, that's it, that's a goal. You can't get away from it. It is a goal, and he just saved it. Now coming to Marcus Rashford and his overall antics, right? And I've been one of the few people who've been very vocal that I'm not a big fan of Marcus Rashford at all. It's not that he's bad. It's just that he's not a step up for you. Okay, Marcus Rashford is inconsistent, and he's inconsistent as hell. He will have games where he will look like a world class player, and 5 games he'll go missing. If you see yesterday, the chance which he had from Bruno's through ball, right? You should have buried it. There is no way on planet Earth how you as a forward cannot bury that chance. The same in the second half where he took 2 men around, went to the far post, and like Andre said, all you had to do was just place, not power it. You had the space entirely open to you. Missed it again. Now coming to the whole situation of Manchester United, right? It's a very difficult scenario, okay, for the forwards how they are playing right now, because we don't have a consistent front two who are playing. In some games Martial comes in, some games Rashford comes in. There is Sancho who's playing on the left, who's traditionally a right winger. We're putting him on the left. Anthony looks like a great player on the right. We can't change a lot of combinations here and there. It also affects the forward. Having said all of it, I really think United need to go into the market and get a striker in January. We need a
That's
striker.
the bare. That's the bare minimum. That's
Yeah,
the
we need a
absolute
striker.
bare
We need a
minimum.
clinical number 9. So there is no two ways about it, and we need it. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
So coming to Devlin, what could be the striker suggestion according to you if we go in the January, like after this World Cup ends, and then we scout some players that we need for a striker. Like at some point, if Eric Ten Hag becomes like, Rashford, what I'm done with you at some point. And if he says that, okay, I'm looking for a new striker, and he says at the press conference, and then Fabrizio Romano start cooking his whole chef thing around in the Twitter and Instagram that United are looking for a striker, just like Anthony thing. So you could think who could be the possible replacements, because one, we are playing in Europa. Two, we have a good project, but of course, the players who are top strikers in their
Yeah,
leagues, they're having it in a
correct.
good league. Yeah. They're playing in a very
Yeah, fair enough. So, like Prashant said, Marcus Rashford is wildly inconsistent. But yesterday, I think the second chance when he was on the right side and he put two people up on his backside, I think the second save was sheer instinct. I thought that the second shot that he took, I'm not talking the first one where he should have scored the Fred through ball. He should have scored that one. The second one where Hugo Lloris just put his hand out, that was sheer instinct. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I thought Rashford buried that. From his weaker foot, he generated enough power and enough direction on that ball to ensure that that ball went inside. But the type of game that Lloris had yesterday, it felt, I mean, it just was meant to be that Rashford was going to score yesterday. As far as striker options are concerned in the market, I don't see a lot of high quality options that are available. One name that's constantly making the rounds again and consistently making the rounds is Cody Gakpo again. But then once again, he's the type of player who flutters from the left and then comes inside and makes his basic way of playing is just from the left drifting inside and then making chances and shooting them. One option that I personally felt that we should have explored in the window, or we can still explore in the Jan window, is Memphis Depay. I mean, he started off as a very arrogant, cocky young player. And then slowly and gradually, when he played in Lyon, he became one of the most mature players and he became a sort of a leader for Lyon. And I think even in Barcelona, he's had a solid season last year. Not spectacular by any stretch of the imagination, but solid enough. And I think and at 28, I think he's become a much more mature player than the brash and arrogant young kid that came into United in 2015. So while a lot of people are not in favor of the Memphis Depay move, I certainly believe that Memphis Depay would be a good addition to the side because he's played with many of these players around. I think he's been teammates with Rashford, he's been teammates with Luke Shaw. David De Gea has played with him, so it's not like he's coming to an entirely alien dressing room. There are players there who know him, who've played with him. And I think when he started playing, he struck up a close bond with Luke Shaw, both on and off the field as well. uh, until that unfortunate injury that happened. His and Luke Shaw's combination was really good. They were working very well on the left side. So I don't see any reason why Memphis Depay. If we want a short-term fix, then we might as well go for Memphis Depay because he's definitely going to be starting for Netherlands in the World Cup. He's going to be their de facto leader of the attack because that attack is very young. If you see, and he would actually be a very and plus he's Dutch. So I mean, considering the fact that Eric Ten Hag has been spot on with his signings from the Dutch league or Dutch players, I think this would be a rather good short term option for us. And as it is, we know that Barca are always on lookout for money, so might as well get it done.
So like we can have the smart business of saying that आप हमें फ्रैंकी और डीपे दे दो और हम आपको पैसा देंगे like that.
I
Because
mean, not Dion, but then Depay
तो
in
नहीं बेच सकते
particular.
अपन.
No, but Depay, though, I would actually like Depay to come in. I mean, he has a quality and he's much mature.
Prashant, coming to you, we also saw Depay when he signed as a very blistering youngster from Dutch league, and it was the Louis van Gaal signing, I guess. And we all were impressed by him, how he was at multi, he can play wing, he can play striker, but that time he was not mature enough. We all know that none of the signings, like not most of the signings of Van Gaal worked. Even Di Maria was like that when we signed at what a world class winger. He turned out like a snake of the team. So coming
No,
about
he didn't.
Memphis Depay, like coming about
He
Memphis
didn't turn
Depay.
up a snake. He didn't turn up a snake. Let me correct you for that. Okay. When your family gets robbed at gunpoint at your home, right? Then your family's security is more important. Then you don't think about playing a professional career. I think people spin around it as if they don't want to ignore, they don't want to understand what actually happened. Uh, Angel Di Maria wasn't a flop for us. So let's get that clarity here.
He had a very good
He had
season.
15 goals. He had 15 goals and 9 assists,
10
which
assists,
Rashford,
yeah.
9 or
10
10
assists.
assists, which Rashford has once in 3 years. Okay, and that was his debut season. The problem was in February when his home got burgled, he lost his form. And then he was not the same player at all. He did not join the preseason because he said to Man United that I want to leave because I don't find Manchester safe. I don't think it's a wrong explanation of what he did. Yes, he
And
didn't like it.
Coming to Memphis
Yeah.
Depay, who was a very
Now coming to
mature.
Memphis Depay, right? Now Memphis Depay for whatever player he is, I don't like Memphis Depay. I'm a Netherlands supporter for almost 20 years now. Memphis Depay is hot and cold. When on his day, Memphis Depay will look like a world-class player, winger or striker. But you can't count on him all the time. And if you are Man United and you have ambitions to fight for the league. I'm not saying go win the league. I'm saying just fight for the league, right? Memphis Depay is not going to help you. Memphis Depay will be that player who can come on as a sub and then try, and then you expect him to score. But he's not a player who's going to revolutionize this team. We are talking about a player who played for us in 2015 and we are talking about a player in 2023 who we want to sign like 7 years. Like we have moved far too ahead for Memphis Depay now, even for Memphis Depay. Now the striker which I would want to see is Victor Osimhen. I would people call him Lukaku of Napoli. And to be
I don't
honest,
think so.
yeah,
I
a
don't
lot of
think
people
so.
call him Lukaku of Napoli because he doesn't have a great first
Ah,
touch. Okay, that's the
ah,
reason.
come
Okay,
on.
now I've been a firm believer that I don't care if a striker doesn't have good first touch. If you can give me 30 goals a year, you are a good striker. It's as simple as that. Okay, now Victor Osimhen and Napoli, the biggest problem is the price. Okay, Napoli are not going to sell us less than 80-85 million. Because Napoli is a very expensive club to buy from. They sold Koulibaly because he was in the last year of contract and they got 34 million from him. So you are dealing with a club who knows how to make money and who knows how to sell. He would have been my ideal choice of a striker if we are going in the market in January. But of course, he's not going to come in January. Uh, I don't think any big player is ready to move in January, especially after the World Cup. And after this World Cup, right, there will be a lot of players who will have a great World Cup, and then the clubs will start looking at them and they'll start inquiring at their respective clubs. So there are chances that this January window might be one of the strongest January windows across all leagues. But there is also another fact that people will not want to risk after signing a player from a World Cup. For example, the James Rodriguez incident with Real Madrid, right? Brilliant World Cup, went to Madrid, everything collapsed for him. And finally had to come to Everton, and then he's gone back to the Saudi leagues now. So United need a striker in January. of utmost important. If you're getting someone, then it has to be
Ivan
Victor
Toney,
Osimhen. Sorry?
Prashant, Ivan
No,
Toney, he
man.
has a trade.
Like Ivan Toney is a great striker and he's great for Brentford. I'm not saying he'll be bad for us and all, but why would I leave Brentford in January? I will not. Why will I leave Brentford in January to come to Manchester United? I'll not. I rather play for Brentford and increase my stocks and come in summer or whatever, May or June, July. You pay me 50, 55 million. Brentford also gets money. I'm also happy I get my move. You're not going to pay 55
One
million in January.
speaking about Osima and Prashad, there
Yeah.
one loophole could be that Nigeria A doesn't is not playing a World Cup this year. Okay. Yeah. And the other thing is that there was after they sold Koulibaly, their owner or their director, I think, whatever it is, I think Aurelio de Laurentiis or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name right. He went on record saying that they're not going to buy African players anymore. Now that could be a point that unsettles Osimhen. And another thing could be that with the World Cup coming and the number of players who will be on the spotlight would be a little more, there could be a chance that we could get him on the cheap. Although that sounds a little far fetched, but then I think Osimhen currently is out injured as well, and that has not stopped Napoli from dominating the Serie A by any stretch. But then again, Osimhen's price tag, and then the fact that he could be on a cheap, I think that would be a very interesting option, especially for the summer. But then in Jan, we definitely need a loan. And that is where the problem is that we will not get a striker who want to join in Jan, especially when the market is definitely going to be inflated. Like it's going to be
Yeah.
inflated like crazy.
Yeah.
So coming to like the last point of this, talk is that it needs a striker in January, and we know that that's gonna be like crazy. What are your takes on like on this season, like ongoing? Like we have won against the big teams, but of course, many people say that Eric Ten Hag clicks very late. Like he clicks very late sometimes, and it frustrates the fans. Like you watch for half time, and you are like, yeah, substitute kar dena Rashford ko, or like substitute Sancho. Like we need like Casemiro का time था when Casemiro was on bench and Fred and McTominay or Ericsson was not that clicking साथ में, तो then people are expecting कि let's bring Casemiro back. What Prashant in last talk that if I found any player shitting in 25 to 30 minutes, I want him to sub him them off so that we can win the games faster and have that hold on the game. So on that Prashant, what you have?
See, the thing with Eric Ten Hag is that he's someone who understands the game better than you and me and all of us combined, right? He knows what is seeing on the touchline. On TV, you might see that the player is not able to take on, the fullback, and he's not able to do that. But from a touchline, he might see that what he's making space for someone else to get in. That's one of the reasons why Jadon Sancho was benched for 3-4 games, because Jadon Sancho's biggest strength is dribbling and taking the man on. He wasn't doing it. So he just benched him. And yesterday you saw Jadon Sancho. He ran through Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer had no clue what was happening to him, and all he did was kept dribbling him. And he kept dribbling him, and there was so much space for Fred and Bruno to come up to the box, and Fred eventually scored. It was all Jadon Sancho's move because he kept troubling Eric Dyer and Romero. Okay, now coming to Eric Ten Hag substitution bit, right? Look, Eric Ten Hag has got a way of playing football, and we can clearly see that it is working. Okay. And fans are patient enough, and like you're right in saying that what, we won against big teams but we are losing against small teams or drawing against Newcastle. That was not something which I wanted. I didn't want to draw against Newcastle. I was like, one goal, just win it, because that will help us close the gap for top four before the World Cup. I want United to get into top four before the World Cup, so when they come back with World Cup, there is more fire for them to perform. But anyways, the Sunday's game, Chelsea, will probably be a decider for us. In defense of Eric Ten Hag, right? He is being handed a set of cards which are very average for him. You have to play Fred and McTominay because Casemiro was still not fit and not used to the Premier League rigor. But now, as soon as he's fit with the Premier League rigor, you can see how much difference Casemiro is making. The two signings which Eric Ten Hag made, which are actually the reason why where we are today in the points table, is Anthony and Martinez. Okay, Anthony is doing twice the work of Rashford and Martial put together, which is running, scoring, assisting, tracking back, helping the fullback, and again running ahead. I have never
You missed the
seen
main thing,
Martial.
dribbling. You missed the
Sorry.
dribbling and skills.
No, he's
Dribbling and
not been
skills.
dribbling
See,
until yesterday.
that is secondary.
Yesterday
That
was
is
the first.
secondary.
Yeah, exactly.
That is secondary. As a winger, you are not expected to show tricks. Then you can play futsal. Football is not your game then. He has to help his fullback all the time. Why is Trent Alexander-Arnold struggling right now? Because he's getting no help from his midfield. He's a great crosser of the ball. He can run, but there is no one to help him. And that's where Diogo Dalot's game has become so much better because Anthony keeps helping him on. That whenever he overlaps, Anthony's there to cover for him. Any Jadon Sancho can dribble, so can Rashford, but that's not going to give you any points for it. You have to help your fullback all the time, and Anthony does that. Look at Martinez. I have never imagined a short guy marking Harry Kane. It was not Rafael Varane who marked Harry Kane yesterday.
No, not at all.
Raf-
Not at all.
Rafael Varane was marking human Son because he knew that Son
Yeah.
has space and Rafael Varane has got that extra bit of space because of his legs, long legs, right? He can just tackle him and then clear the line. It was Martinez who did not let Kane get inside the box. Kane had one shot in the game, man. Throughout the game, he had one shot, which was just whiskers away. But Martinez kept bullying him, and you can see Eric Ten Hag the kind of football what you want to play. Of course, we'll have to wait and watch how this unfolds in the longer run because it's too small of a shot, too short of a time span to judge anything and say that what we are on the right track, etc., etc. But the signs are good. Let's see how long it lasts now.
Yeah, to put in Prashant's point as well, there is visible improvement. I mean, up until a certain point, David De Gea on the ball looked like an accident waiting to happen at every point. I think at every given time, all three of us would have had heart palpitations whenever he had the ball at his feet and whenever we went on to play short. But last night, you could see that there's genuine confidence whenever De Gea has the ball at his feet. Again, like Prashant said, this is a small sample size, but yesterday his deliveries were rather spot on. He got his short passes right, he got his long passes right, and there was an instance where he swept correctly and accurately in order to avoid danger as well. Because Rafael Varane, at that one split second, was in two minds whether the ball is going to come to him or no. So De Gea at that instant just let his instinct take over and just went on and just swept it away. So these are some qualities which we've not seen in the hair towards the past. These shop stopping bar none. But then yesterday was the game where we saw the entire team clicking. There was cohesion, there was dynamism, and we were proactive for once. And that performance coming against one of the big teams, especially against the Spurs side, who, let's not forget, had their best start to a Premier League season. Like it has been their best start in their club history. And for a team that plays with a block which is even lower than your average low block, I think we were all over them. And 28 shots, that is the most that an Antonio Conte side has faced. So there is genuine improvement. There is a genuine philosophy, and we can genuinely see it work. We need, and I do not say, I cannot stress the importance of this fact enough that this manager needs time and this manager needs all our support, because you can see that this man has a plan, he has a vision. He just give him the players and give him the time to implement that, and you will see the improvement. The improvement is already there for everyone to see. Just give that time and just give him that support, and we'll definitely be a force to reckon with once again, fingers crossed. That's how massive the scale of improvement is in the past few months. So, and a short thing to say is that we've played 9 games so far in October. We won 7, we've drawn 1, we've lost 1. With 2 games to come, with two more games to come this season. I think that's an amazing return. That's a rather amazing return.
Just to add on to Delvin's point for the last bit, right? Antonio Conte said something in the press conference, post-match conference. He said Spurs and United are two different levels, and United's level is so high for Spurs right now, we couldn't match them. And you're talking about just a manager. You're talking about Antonio Conte, who's a serial winner. We all know Antonio Conte means trophies. He's won in multiple leagues. He's won in Premier League with Chelsea. He's gone to Inter, won it. He knows how to win. So you're not talking of someone who's just like, someone like a Brendan Rodgers kind of a manager. आया है vibe में आया है चल गया नहीं चला तो नहीं चला. Antonio Conte means business. He's a very flammable kind of a guy. He will explode one day or the other, which is everyone knows it, right? Coming from him, right? Even before the match, he said that people are not seeing United as a team because of the managerial changes and everything, but they are on the right track, and it's visible for everyone in the Premier League. No one believed that, including me. I also didn't believe it. But yesterday's performance kind of sparked a small belief in me, saying that, you know what, the foundation is starting to be laid now. It will take time, but yes, if this is what it is going to happen, yeah, we are in for a good ride.
Exactly.
So that was really spot on points from both of them. Like it was really good that like Eric Ten Hag sparks in United. We are also sparkling right now, and many things have been proved correct by Eric Ten Hag what he's doing with the club. Hope he does best. Next is Chelsea. Let's hope finger cross we win against this Graham Potter side who had a draw yesterday. So we can have that point that if we can beat them, we can go into the top four before the World Cup, and Prashant can have a good day by watching World Cup and believe that club can do better. And for everyone, like we all want that top four match finally. So when I end up this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and do watch this video and comment your thoughts about it. Let's hope that everything like wraps soon before this season ends and we have some glory to see. So GGM, you guys. Thanks and adios.
Thank you.
See you.